This is a lecture from Open Tuition. For the free lecture notes that go with this podcast, please visit opentuition.com.
All right, well, having shown you what you might call the three special entries, now let me show you how it's asked. Can you turn, please, last bit from me, to example 1 on page 108. If you look at the straight at the bottom, the requirement, it says prepare the receivables ledger and payables ledger control accounts for the month of September. Now again, clearly in the exam, you can't be asked to write up a T account. But you'll see in a minute, they will check that you know how to write it up, if you understand me. So we're simply going to write up these two accounts, total receivables, total payables. They've told us at the top the balance is at the beginning of September. You found it? Hello? On the 1st of September, receivables ledger control 186, payables ledger control 89. They've given us a list of transactions during the month. And you're going to help me. For each transaction, I need to know which account will it go in and will it be debit credit. Okay? So let's do it. I'll do them side by side. Then I don't have to keep winding up and down. We're asked to write up a receivables ledger control. And I said before, don't be frightened by the word. All it means is total receivables. And we're going to write up payables ledger control. And again, all it means is total payables. That's all. Let's see how fast we can be, but do stop me if I say anything too fast, for heaven's sake. We're going to do the accounts for the month. At the top, we're told the balance is at the start of the month. Receivables was a debit balance, 186,220. Payables are a credit balance, 89,290. Let's go down the list. And again, be patient with me as we do it. I want to mention one or two things to be careful about. But let's go down the list. For each one, I want to know which account will we go to. And is it debit credit? Okay? Well, the first one I hope is very easy. Sales on credit. Credit sales. If you make sales on credit, please. Which entry and which account? Yeah. Surely, you've sold on credit, you will debit receivables 101,260. Do you all agree? Right, two things before I carry on, please. I said be patient with me. One beautiful thing about these questions is although you all know the double entries credit sales, here, I don't care. All we're doing is writing up receivables. I don't care where the double entry is. I hope, obviously, we'll debit receivables because we're owed more money. Agreed? Secondly, be careful in the exam. You'll see shortly. They very often have little tricks for you. I could have told you credit sales 101,260. I could have put the next line, cash sales 50,000. Well, of course, cash sales wouldn't affect receivables at all. Do you agree? Debit cash, credit sales. But very often, they're asking you just for receivables. They mention cash sales just to check you know it doesn't affect receivables. Am I making sense there? All right, let's carry on. Credit purchases. Well, I'll do this one. If you do one, you do the other. Purchases on credit, surely. We owe money. You will credit payables 68,420. All right, we'll debit purchases, but I don't really care for these questions. Irrelevant. Next.
Does it mean that we have returned something that we have purchased before? Because it says credit purchases.
Oh, sorry. I take your point. Yeah. I should have stressed. They quite often do this. If ever you see the expression credit sales or credit purchases, it's another way of saying, I'm afraid, sales on credit, purchases on credit. So I understand what you're saying, Irina, and I'm sorry, I know it's a bit confusing. But did you all understand me there? The expression credit purchases, they're not telling you to do a credit or to do a debit sort of thing. It simply means purchases on credit. The previous one, sales on credit. Happy? Thank you. All right, next one. Sales returns. Again, be happy with the expression, but I think it's clear what it means. Customers have returned goods. What entry, please? Credit receivables. If the customers return goods, they owe us less money. You will credit receivables. I've told you where the debit is, but I don't care. These questions, all we care about is what's happening to receivables or what's happening to payables. Well, again, a bit silly. If you do one, you do the other. Purchase returns. If we return goods to suppliers, surely you'll debit payables because you owe less. Cash received from customers, please. What entry? Cash received.
How do we know? Is it cash?
I was coming to that. Yeah. Cash received from customers. Irina says, how do you know? They'll make it very clear. I'm sorry, I can't say more than that. If it's cash sales, they will actually say cash sales. All right? Here, there's no mention of any cash sales. Clearly, we've got credit sales. We knew that. Cash received from customers has to be from the credit sales. Now, I know that might sound worrying, but they will make it clear in the exam, I swear to you. If they say cash sales, that's different. But cash from customers, you would assume here, it's cash from our receivables. Clear? In which case, please, what is the entry if it's cash from our receivables? Debit cash, credit receivables. 91,270. And of course, cash to suppliers. Credit cash, debit payables. So I don't know, apart from a few little bits on the words, I hope you're all finding it very easy. I think the idea is very straightforward. Yeah? Liga?
Yeah.
Oh, what about the next one? Cash discounts allowed. Cash discount allowed. What entry in which account? A discount allowed.
Credit receivable.
Yes. be careful, it's pure terminology, but I said before, if you allow a discount, you're giving a discount to customers. They owe you less money. You will credit receivables. And similarly, the danger here, you get them both right or both wrong. But the next one, a discount received. You receive a discount from suppliers. They owe us less money. Sorry, what am I talking about? We owe them less money. You would debit payables. How much was it? 840? 880? We're nearly there. You're all still with me? Ooh, what about the next one? A bit of revision for you. Irrecoverable debts written off. Which account? What entry? Yeah. Yeah. However little you might remember from last time, surely an irrecoverable debt, you remove it from receivables, you credit receivables. How much was it? I've lost it. 460. Yep. Okay, can I warn you of one trick they often do? Suppose I'd put another one in the list. Suppose the list did say irrecoverable debts 460. Suppose it then said allowance for receivables 200. Yep. Allowance for receivables. Which account? Neither. Neither. Surely if you make an allowance for receivables for doubtful ones, you still leave the amount owing. Whether you remember the debits and credits or not, you'd actually have to open up an allowance for receivables account. Well, here, irrelevant. All they'll want here is total receivables to total payables. An allowance for receivables would not be relevant. It doesn't affect the receivables account. Agreed? All right, almost there. I'm going to jump one. I'll come back to it after. Can you jump to the last one? Contra settlement. Well, I know we've only just mentioned it, but this is easy. You must learn it. Contra always reduces what customers owe us. You credit receivables. It always reduces what we owe suppliers. You debit payables. Again, I appreciate I haven't given you much time to think or learn. But contra is the easy one. Always. Learn it. It's always the same. Okay? Finally, though, there's one I left to the end deliberately, which I haven't mentioned. And listen very, very carefully here. This is the one so many people get wrong. I don't know whether it's just terminology or what. A refund to customers. Now, first of all, can I make it very clear what we mean? A refund means we repay cash. Here it's a refund to customer. A refund to customers. It means we pay cash back to the customer. Think about this for a minute. Hello. Customers usually pay us cash. Why? Why might we pay cash back to a customer? Why? Any suggestions? You're my customers. Normally you pay me. Why should I pay you? You pay me 100. Why should I ever pay any of it back to you?
If you delivered goods and he paid already cash, and then he wants to return.
Yeah, one reason could be that they return goods. You buy goods from me for 100, you pay me 100. If you return them, maybe I give you the money back. Do you agree? Anybody think of any other reason why I might give you money back when you're a customer?
Customer has overpaid.
Yeah, maybe you accidentally paid me twice. You owed me 100, you've paid me 200. Fine, I'll give you back 200. Well, I don't care what the reason is. There are the two most likely. It's something that obviously doesn't happen often. But for both reasons, there's why I might be giving you cash back. Now think about this. When you gave cash to me, the normal position, debit cash, credit receivables. What do you think the entry is going to be if I repay some of that cash?
Debit receivables, credit cash.
She's right. She's right. You'll credit cash, you'll debit receivables. Now, for everybody's benefit, I'll just prove is the wrong word, but make sure. It's actually very easy to deal with. When you get the cash, debit cash, credit receivables, if for any reason you give back some of the cash, it's the opposite. Credit cash, debit receivables. Be patient, just in case anybody's unsure. Look at this. Suppose I sold you goods for 100. I sold you goods for 100. Debit receivables, credit sales. You owe me 100. You pay me, debit cash, credit receivables, and you accidentally pay me again. Everybody? I said that's one reason I might have to refund. You've paid me 200 by mistake, debit cash, credit receivables. I hope, obviously, I've got to give it back. And also, of course, at the moment it looks as, well, it's a credit balance, yeah? And so when I repay, remember refund means repay. When we repay the cash, credit cash, debit receivables, perfect. Okay? So make sure you've got it. It's the one that confuses a lot of people. They confuse the words refund and return. You know, return may be a reason for the refund, but they're two separate things, if you understand me. Refund is simply repay cash. Okay? I've got to do that. I had a lovely surprise. Hello. I had a lovely surprise on Tuesday evening. I checked my bank statement on the internet, and there was this money appear. I mean, unfortunately, it was only 59 lats. I wish it had been 59,000, but 59 lats had appeared. And I thought, who's that from? You know, normally you pay me and it says the name of the firm or whatever. And this had this great long thing, and IIN and whatever. And when I translated it, it was from the State Revenue Service, a repayment of personal tax to somebody called Natalia somebody. You've given it me. Hello. I don't quite know. They could have made the mistake. But, as I say, if it was 59,000, I wouldn't have actually said anything. I'd have retired. It's only 59, so I'm going to have to refund it because it's not mine. But does anybody know how they can do that? I don't know. You can all mistype a bank account number, but you know, these long numbers, you can't accidentally mistype. It won't accept it, if you know what I mean. So there must be something very strange going on at the State Revenue Service. Perhaps it'll start happening every day. And you know. Anyway, you're not interested. We've now dealt with it all. It wants the balance at the end. Well, I'm not really worried, but let's just add up. The work was the entries. Somebody check my arithmetic, but I don't want to waste time here. I really don't want to waste time. It's only adding up. I think my addition's correct. And similarly on payables. I think they're right, but not too bothered. All right, the reason I say I'm not too bothered, please, I mean, it is only addition. But you all ended up happy with these entries, I hope?